The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily represent those of this station or its management.
It's time now for Where You Live with Gene Sullivan, the show that deals with the news and events that affect you the most. Whether you rent or own, live in an HOA, single-family home, or an apartment building, Gene will tackle the issues right where you live. So, from the True North Painting Studios, here's the original Man of Steel, Resolve himself, who stands for truth, justice, and the association way. Here's Gene Sullivan.
Hello, welcome to Where You Live. I'm Gene Sullivan, and I'm broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios. When you're looking for the right painting contractor, what do you look for? Isn't it someone who will respect you, your time, your property, and your budget? That's what you can expect from True North Painting. Find out more about this exceptional company by going online at truenorthpainting.com or give them a call at 952-831-1433. I'm also brought to you by the great folks at Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. I'd like to, as I always do at this point in the show, also welcome Christopher Wyatt Earp Huberty behind the board. How are you, Chris?
Good, Gene. Now, I heard you were in a golf tournament this week. How'd it go?
We had a lot of fun. I
Nice.
keep saying to myself every year, I'm going to take lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that's with me agrees when they're playing with me that I should, but I make everybody look good
Nice.
when it comes to golf. But it's a good time because it's a time to enjoy a cigar outside, take a few hours off with folks that you like to be with, and it's great.
Nice.
Yeah. Do you golf at all?
Poorly, but
Okay.
I do. Yeah, the last time I went golfing, I shanked one really bad, and had it not been for a tree, a windshield would have been taken out. But fortunately,
really?
the tree was there.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so, yeah, lucked out.
Yay for nature.
Absolutely.
Now, let me ask you this, Chris. With when you're going shopping at the grocery store,
Mhm.
a lot of times you'll see something that'll say on sale.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, oh, great, I'm going to save $3 off, $5 off, whatever. And then you get there and you find out you're not going to be spending less right then and there. What you get is a little piece of paper called a rebate coupon.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to fill things out and you've got to apply for it to get it.
Right.
That can be very frustrating
Absolutely.
because, you say, oh, I'm going to save some money. But no, now you've got to jump through hoops
Right.
and prove that. Well, that's exactly what is behind the story that we're going to be dealing with today in Property Management in the News. Property Management in the News is brought to you by Home Furniture and Abbey Floor Coverings. Their showrooms are staffed with professionals who will help you choose what you need to fit both your lifestyle and budget. Whatever you need, chances are they'll have what you're looking for. If you wish to avail yourself of special pricing you're not going to find anywhere else, all Where You Live listeners, call Customer Service Coordinator Lori Matson at 952-224-2663. Our first story is from one that was pulled out of the Minneapolis Star Tribune back on July 16th, dealing with property taxes in the state. And the question that I wanted to begin by asking here is, why is it that it seems that we have a double standard? Why don't we hold our state legislators to the same exact standard that we expect of the volunteers who serve on HOA boards in homeowner associations where we live? And there's a reason for that. Have you ever stopped and thought about that, Chris? Why is it that why some people are held to a different standard?
Oh, it frequently makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, and in this particular case, the reason why that I think that some people will hold someone on a board of an HOA with a greater standard than they do their state legislator, even though you're talking about the difference of a couple $100,000 for a year budget versus what is the state legislature's budget? 32, 34, 36 billion dollars. Okay. And the difference is what I call the bureaucratic paradigm. Okay. And what I mean by that is I think the larger something becomes, the more disconnected we are from it. Okay? And that can be that bureaucratic paradigm is something that can happen to any organization. It could be a state government. It could be a business. The larger a business gets, the larger a budget gets, the larger an idea gets in having to implement it. The larger it is, the more disconnected we are from it, because now all of a sudden we're not dealing with numbers that we're comfortable with and used to dealing with. Let me give you an example. Even in a homeowners association, when you're just dealing with a budget of a few $100,000, and you're probably looking at here in Minnesota, the average association, if it is anywhere between, smaller one between 40, 80 units, they're probably dealing with a yearly budget that can be between $300,000 to $500,000 a year. And for most people, that's a lot more than what they make in a year. And soon as it becomes something that is more, it becomes more intangible. It becomes something that that is hard to relate to. A perfect example in an HOA would be, let's say we have that example of a 60-unit association. They have a $400,000 or $350,000 budget. And so let's say they have a line item and they say, we're going to have 1% or $3,500 set aside for landscaping. And what that means is we can replace a tree if it needs to be replaced. We can replace a shrub if it needs to be replaced. And for a lot of people, that becomes a number that is automatically larger than what they're used to dealing with, and they can't understand why everything can't be done at the same time. You know, if the average price of a tree is $350 to put one in, $3,500 is going to get you what? 10 trees. But what if you have 20 homes that have dead trees? You're not going to be able to deal with it. But the one homeowner says, because they can't deal with that larger number, they say $3,500 is a lot of money. I only need a couple $100. Or the person who says, I only need a shrub. That's only $35. You know, we could get 100 of those. Why can't you? I can't have just the shrub that I want. All of a sudden, in hundreds of thousands of dollars, we're dealing with budgets that people automatically don't know or understand. At the state legislature, it becomes even greater. We hear in the news about how the state legislature throws millions of dollars here, millions of dollars there. Let me give you an example of how this bureaucratic paradigm takes place. Let's say the state legislature said, you know what is important? We need to beef up law enforcement around the state. So let's give $10 million. Let's set aside $10 million for beefing up law enforcement. Automatically, people are thinking, $10 million, that's a lot more. $10 million, now we're talking about something that most people will not even come close to making throughout their entire life, from the start of their life till finish. Someone might be able to make over their 30, 35 years of working. Maybe on the average person might make between $1.5 and $3 million. But $10 million, that's a budget that's even much larger than someone can conceive. And so you think $10 million, that's a lot of money. But then you stop and think, well, wait a minute. There's 861 cities in the state of Minnesota. Now, if I divide that up by 861 cities, that's only a little over $11,000. That's not even going to buy a person the salary of one police officer, let alone anything that's going to be significant. And now we can deal with billions of dollars. How about that? Let's deal with the number a billion or several billion. Now we're dealing with numbers that most of us will never see in our entire life. What's one large number in billions that people think about? World population. 7 billion people, they say, living on our planet Earth. What does that mean? How does that translate? How many people are 7 billion people? Well, someone had said, well, let's take a look at the average size home in most cities like Minneapolis. That's on a 1/4 acre lot. You take a look at the average size of a home in Minneapolis, and let's say we're going to put 4 people on the face of this earth in a home in a 1/4 acre lot with a home. How big of an area would you need to cover for 7 billion people? Well, if you did that and you just put them all next to each other, you could fit the entire world population in the state of Texas. That means all other 49 states could be a national park reserve. You get my picture here. We're dealing with numbers that are too large, and all of a sudden we become disconnected with it. I want to talk about this issue of property taxes because the state legislature said, hey, we're going to lower property taxes for you. And they're dealing with numbers that most of us are going to say, hey, that looks pretty good. But what does it really mean? Well, we're going to talk about it, but we're going to take a break right now. So don't go away. A lot more of Where You Live on AM 1280 The Patriot back after this